What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, you guys, and let's get into it, all right? It is the 15th day of July. Here we are at about 1.85 cents, 5 days, 9 hours left in this week here, more like 5 days, 8 hours. 6% up on the week so far, got a big wick to the upside. I think that by the end of the week, we likely will continue to rip and rally. And yes, the time frame is off. What else is new? I thought that we'd be up higher today. Hold on. I thought that we would be up higher today, but Bitcoin had other plans in mind. We are down about 5.7% on the day, but I don't think that we're going to go too much lower, right? That very well could have been the low. I do think that Bitcoin's going to go lower. I mean, it might not. Again, if we are to invalidate that, because that was a pretty bearish candle that just happened on the 1 hour time frame. If we're to invalidate that, all we got to do is get above that high. We get back above 118K, and Bitcoin should be moving higher. But just because I expect Bitcoin to move lower doesn't necessarily mean XCN has to move lower, right? That's not necessarily how it works every single time. Bitcoin can move lower, and XCN can still be down more than Bitcoin today, even without moving lower than that low. Does that make sense, right? And that's the norm, is that if Bitcoin moves down, altcoins move down lower, right? They move down more, essentially, and you're already there. So if Bitcoin moves down to like 114K, 112K, something like that, XCN could be here and it would still be down more than Bitcoin. But I digress. I'm getting off the point here. So you are overbought, or you are technically overbought. If today closes here or lower, we will be out of the overbought zone. I, for one, actually think this is a good thing. Getting overbought and then out of the overbought zone is good, as long as you can get back into the overbought zone, right? These kind of continued readings in and out like that, that's actually the most bullish kind of environment you can be in the daily time frame, right? Stuff like this, even whenever you're bouncing off it, that's actually even more bullish, to be fair. But this kind of consistent behavior where you're messing with the overbought zone a bunch, that's good. You want to get continuous readings. You don't want to just have one point in and then 1 point out. You don't want that, right? That's not what we don't want to see. So hopefully we get some continued growth, and I think that we will. Again, we are in the middle of this kind of W shape here, right? And W's don't stop until, if they're to be successful, they don't stop until they see until we see prices that are above this high here. So I would likely expect that we're above like 2.3 cents or so over the coming days. I mean, it could be by the end of today. When Bitcoin finds support, we got 8 hours left in the day, guys. 8.5 or 8 hours, 15 minutes left in the day. If Bitcoin were in like 1 or 2 hours to go down here, I mean, by the end of the day, it could come back up. It's very possible XCN could just rally off of that. I think XCN's waiting, and altcoins are probably waiting for Bitcoin to finish doing its shakeout, and then once that happens, then funds should start to flow into altcoins. That's my expectation here. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, maybe even the 15 minutes. Look at the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, it's bearish right now. It's neutral but bearish right now, I would say. Findings resistance at the 60, support at the 40, resistance at the 60, support down here, whatever, but you're getting oversold, you're not getting overbought. You were getting overbought, you weren't getting oversold. That's whenever you were bullish. Now you're taking a bit of a neutral yet bearish tone, I would say. You could go a little bit lower, and that's okay if you do, right? It's not a big deal if you do go lower. Low to high here. Yeah, you look productive to the downside. So let's call for, you're at 1.85 cents. Let's call for 1.76 cents right now, something like that. Maybe even 1.71 at the lowest, but I doubt that you go too much lower than that, right? We're not going to get below 1.7 cents probably ever again for OnyxCoin this cycle, or probably not even going into next cycle. I wouldn't say never again, but it's possible, man. Never, ever, ever again. It's very, very possible. I know that's a hard thought for some people, but there are going to be altcoins that, even if they lose relevance in the future, the dollar will always decrease in value. So as long as there's some use case still, and they're being used, even if they lose relevance, but they're still relevant to some degree, there are a handful of altcoins this cycle that will produce prices that are producing prices now that they might not ever see again in our lifetimes, as long as they remain solvent. And I think XCN will definitely remain solvent. I think somebody asked me this, a while ago, if I'm planning on holding through the cycle or if I'm going to sell the top, and probably a little bit of both, because I really could see XCN staying here for the long term. As far as like a DeFi protocol goes, I think this thing is killer. But time will tell. We'll see. Hold on here. Bitcoin moving up, baby, moving up a little bit. All right, hey, if we do, guys, if we get above here, understand that that's probably the low, and then if we're moving up, that's great. That's good stuff. XCN 1 hour time frame, bouncing off the 40. The 1 hour is a lot more bullish than the 15 minute, I can tell you that. Looking pretty damn good, actually. Let's see, is this the low? Let's make out the case for that being the low. Because if it is, that's great. Maybe we've done it already. Low to high, 0.5382. I mean, it's fine. Well, a lot of cryptos have shown support at the 0.5 lately, but I would think that we do go to the golden ratio, something like that. Maybe just above it. We do skim the golden ratio sometimes, so something around here. I still would think that we go a little bit lower, personally. That's just my thoughts. I mean, here we're finding resistance at prior support. I would think that we do go just a little bit lower, right? Nothing too crazy, but just a little bit lower. 4 hour time frame here. Looking at this. The 4 hour looks really good, you guys. Actually, the 4 hour would be calling for a bounce probably in this area, honestly. Bearish divergence. But we have the bearish divergence. Oh, but it's not bearish divergence, right? We went over that. It's not. I could take it or leave it with the 4 hour, man. I'm going to go with a little bit lower. What I think is going to happen here is we'll have lower lows in the RSI, higher lows in the price, and then that'll be the point at which we bounce. So something around 1.7 cents, but above it, 1.7 to 1.75 cents, somewhere in there. That just keeps seeming to come up. It makes sense that we'd go down there. And then after we find support there, we should be ripping and running back to the upside. I mean, by the end of this week, you guys, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we were up at 3 cents or more, maybe up at 5 cents or more. Genuinely, by the end of this week, we could be all the way up at 8 cents. If this thing starts running, when it runs, it can run pretty damn fast. But that won't be without shakeouts along the way, right? From a high to a low, we already dropped 14% here. From a high to a low now, we're dropping 12, 13%. These are very modest shakeouts. Once the price starts to get a little bit more eruptive, we're going to see those 30%, 20%, 40% shakeouts, right? Very quick endeavors and then continue to rally. So just be aware of that. All in all, things are looking good still. Very, very bullish on OnyxCoin, very bullish on the crypto markets. Looks like we're coming down a little bit. That was just a little fake out, a little back test for prior resistance or prior support as resistance probably. A little bit lower. Just a little bit lower, my friends. Looking at the 3-day time frame here. Come on. Give me the 3-day. There we go. 3-day time frame. 2 days, 9 hours left. We'll start off this first day to the downside, but I don't think that we're going to close it here, right? 2 days, 9 hours from now, we should be getting into that overbought zone. I don't think that we're going to reject here. Once we get overbought on the 3-day, we're already over, like we've already gotten overbought on the daily. We'll get overbought on the 3-day, and then we're looking to get overbought on the weekly as well. All those things coming together should result in a spectacular series of events that takes place and takes us all the way up to 26 to 32 cents between now and the end of August, if not earlier. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I want to see here real quick. Yeah, nothing really to go off of there. That's okay. Yep, I really do think that this next move, where we're going to move up to here, we're probably not going to stop until we're at like 7 to 10 cents, right? Consolidate for a little bit, and then going into the end of August, we should be reaching for these areas here. But that's it, you guys. Take care. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.